Hello and welcome to another episode of A Crazy Little Thing Called Thought podcast with me, your host, Luke Richardson. This is episode 10, Why Workplace Stress Isn't What We Think It Is. Wow, episode 10. I can't believe I've reached a mini milestone with these recordings already. And if you do listen, if you're a regular listener, a massive heartfelt thank you. Thank you to you. I really enjoy doing these recordings and I'm really wanting to get the message across to you and other people that, whether that be within your personal life or your professional life, that you are bigger than the stress, anxiety and depression that you face. I hope you enjoy this one. If you want to hear more recordings, then feel free to check out my YouTube channel, which I'll put in the comments below, in the description below, and I'll also put my email address also if you want to contact me directly about anything. Now, this is episode 10, as I say, why workplace stress and anxiety isn't what we think it is. Now, if I was to ask somebody, any particular person in the world who was a professional and worked in the corporate world or worked at a supermarket or worked as a builder on a construction site, I'd ask them, what do you think causes your stress and anxiety in your professional careers? And they'd probably talk about all sorts of things from, I don't get paid enough, my colleagues are arseholes, my boss is a jerk, I don't like the work, there's too much of it, I don't like the commute, blah blah blah. You get the image, don't you? There's tens of thousands of reasons why people would be associating their stress and anxiety and depression with their job. Now, basically, if you're having a rough time at work and you have an opportunity to improve your circumstances, whether that be go for another job for your own sanity or better pay or an easy commute, then in practical terms you'd be obviously better off considering that because it could improve your lifestyle. But what about the people that can't easily do that? What about people that can't easily get a new job for that easy commute, that can't easily get a new job for increased pay, that can't easily get a new job because they don't like the people or the work? What about those people? Now, do those people, if they understand clearly where the stress and anxiety is originating from, then it gives them hope because they don't feel as if they're stuck and riveted to this particular job or identity. People that are feeling depression and anxiety and stress in the workplace often have this feeling of being trapped. Now, what tends to happen is people get into a job and they get, so long into it and they get they feel that negative feelings originating from inside of them are coming from the job and they feel that is their life and there's nothing they can do about it. And of course, applying for another job and looking for other jobs will eventually get them into a different position in the real world. But trying to get to the point of what I'm trying to portray, I explained on previous podcasts that we live in a world of thought. We live in a world where we create our own experiences, irrespective of our circumstances. So it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, unemployed, employed, have a lot of friends, don't have a lot of friends, have a good social life, don't go out so much. It really isn't a circumstantial your experience isn't a circumstantial dependency. So people through thought create their own experiences of life. Now, because not everyone understands that, when these people go to work and create an experience through them that's particularly not something they enjoy and particularly negative. The worldwide habit, me included, I fall for this a lot myself. The worldwide habit is to blame the outside world. And of course, if you're doing a job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, maybe more, overtime, then it's understandable that a person would probably associate that with their job. And you can understand why people would feel trapped, because they connect the two dots together. The dots that aren't connected, they connect them together. Now, as I said, what about these people that can't easily change their circumstances? What do? Well, through a deeper understanding of how life works through them, it gives them hope and it gives them breathing space, because if they understand that their experience is coming through them and it's not coming from the difficulty of their job, then there's a sense of freedom there. Freedom that they never thought possible, because they thought they had to leave a job to get that freedom. But if someone understands that quiet space within them is the real them, not the mental clutter that comes with doing a 9-to-5 corporate job or a building job or a working in a supermarket, for instance, then that's huge, because that shows that to a person that they are in that experience and the potential they have is endless. I can prove it to you that asking you this question: is it entirely impossible for someone to be in a job where most people would think, oh, that job looks terrible, I wouldn't like to do that job, for someone, another particular person, to love that job? It's not impossible, is it? Which proves the point I'm trying to make. Without insulting your intelligence, I presume you may have worked or do work in a workplace at the moment. If you work in a department with people that do the same work as you can see it there. You'll have your own reality of it, your own opinions of it, what you like, what you don't like, and so on. Your colleague A, hates it just as much as you do, if not more. The other colleague B, really hates it to the extreme. Colleague C loves it. It's the same job and it's the same work. Yet there's so many different possibilities of how people see it. I'm going to tell you a quick story now about my career in the working world. So for about 7 years I was a project manager at a company, and I'll admit that I used to associate my own depression struggles with the job, and I'd blame the job. I'd say it's the job. I have eventually left the job now and got another job, but knowing what I know through this deep understanding, I can no longer blame that old job for my experience anymore. Now, a lot of people that know me and know what I went through would probably look at me and go, "What? You're crazy. Of course it was the job that did it to you." But how can I see it that way when I've just explained what I explained to you? I can't anymore. I can't blame outside things, which includes my old workplace, for my experience. It was all, as blunt as this sounds, it was all my own fault. Because I was, despite the physical world being the physical world, and, the amount of work I had to do, and the amount of meetings I had to do, and the amount of deadlines I had, and the amount of people ringing me, it was just physical world stuff that most people would probably experience as stress. But when you consider that we live in a world of thought and a world of creation, of internal creation, we're creating our own experience, then I can see the possibility that I could have experienced that time better, because I was the one generating it all, not my old job. So, if you are someone that's in a job and you're having a bit of a rough time with it, and you're feeling, like we all get sometimes a little bit depressed about it, anxious, stressed about it, and you feel trapped, you know deep down that that experience of what I've just described is coming through you and not the job, it gives you a bit of freedom, because you know that you're not tied to that experience. That's not to say you have to stay in the job because of what I've just explained about the experience coming through you. If you've got a chance to get another job, great, go, and it's better, go for it. But if it's not easy to do that, knowing this knowledge is power back to you, regardless of the money you bring in, regardless of the hours you do, regardless of the job you do. It doesn't matter if you're a bin man. The power is within you, and it gets back to you when you know where the experience is flowing from. The job it's not like Wi-Fi. You can't download feelings and experiences from the job when you know it's coming through you. So, this kind of wraps up the podcast recording that workplace stress, anxiety, depression isn't what we think it is. We tend to, by habit, pin it to the outside world, our jobs, our employers. But when we take responsibility for it, it gives you freedom, and because you're in a better place internally, you make decisions more wisely. You'll have better relationships with colleagues. You won't batter an eyelid over those pressure deadlines. You'll be able to make those phone calls without thinking about it too much. You'll be able to prioritise your workload. You'll be able to start early and finish on time. You won't have to stay. You won't have to do more work, because your time management skills will increase with this knowledge, with this allowing this presence to flow through you, this common sense. So I hope this helps you to realise that workplace stress, anxiety, depression is not workplace stress and anxiety, depression. It's just an internal illusion created within us. And it's true, because you can create those you can create those states of mind in other areas of life, not just in a job. You can create it in, family crises, or if someone's sick in the family, it's all internal creation. I hope this audio recording really helps to see that you're not at the mercy of your experience in the workplace. If you, as I say, I will put some of my email address at the bottom of this podcast, and I'll also put a link to my YouTube channel and website in there as well. Take care, guys. On to the next one. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.